either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
Welcome to the Good, the Bad, the Weird MicroViews. I'm Nico.
And I'm Chris.
And although Nic Cage November, the most glorious time of year, is ending for us, it's also almost the start of other people's most happiest times of the year. It's kind of our semi-kicking off Christmas because we gotta skip one of the Christmas episodes for something else.
We do, and also I know a lot of people do like this one, even if it's not to my taste, because I am not a Christmas person.
I have yet to meet someone who likes this movie.
I have met someone who liked this movie. They thought it was very funny, and then I have found a forum with a lot of people who truly believe that this is a Christmas classic and they watch it every year.
J-Rad and I would have to heavily fucking disagree with this one. We're doing Trapped in Paradise. A really garbage Christmas movie about three brothers who go to Pennsylvania to find some mob boss's daughter and end up robbing a bank on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, the plot of this movie is all over the place. The humor is all over the place. The acting is all over the place. This movie is a hot mess.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's crazy too. Well, maybe not so crazy because I haven't seen much this guy's done since then. But it's written and directed by George Gallo, who would go on to write the story for Bad Boys.
That's shocking.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Shocking, I tell you.
And it stars Nic Cage as Bill Firpo.
Sure.
John Lovitz as Dave Firpo.
Uh-huh.
And Dana Carvey as Alvin Firpo.
There's just three idiots who essentially rob a bank.
Yeah, well, and so that's something that I was very confused with, because this, again, is one of my multiple times watching this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The brothers in them are so stupid, which I do...
It's Three Stooge-esque level stupid.
Okay, so that's what I was curious about. I wasn't sure if it was Three Stooges, if it was like the Marx Brothers, where there's the one smart one. That's probably what it is, more so it's the Marx Brothers than it is the Stooges.
Okay, that proves that you are not a Stooges lover.
There
is one smart Stooge, and he is still stupid. These are the Stooges, my man.
I have not seen the Stooges.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry for you. I am a lover of the Three Stooges. I love slapstick. I love the vaudevillian acts. I love the whole shebang. And I am well familiar with the Three Stooges. Have I seen them all? Of course not. There is too much. But I would say that this is written and directed with the stylings of Three Stooges humor involved. Silly voices, playing up of idiocracies or handicaps, having one still very clearly stupidest brother pretend to be the smartest because he's the leader or the oldest.
Yeah, Alvin just makes me think of Disguisey from Master of Disguise.
Yes.
But, like, worse because he actually speaks in full sentences.
Yeah, the amount of, like, times that all three of them play the, like, I'm so sorry, this is my stupid brother, he's really slow, you'll have to give him some time. Like, the way all three of them play that to each other constantly, I did find funny. I will say, though, okay, again, as someone who does genuinely find the Three Stooges very funny, and I usually do enjoy movies that are kind of at least based off of their styling, this one lacks a lot of the slapstick humor that usually goes with Three Stooges, like, jokes. This one only relies on dialogue jokes for the most part.
Or situational humor. Specifically, the main bit of humor is, one, Bill, Nic Cage's character, being smarter than the other two.
By, like, the smallest amount.
Yeah, and Alvin constantly pickpocketing stuff in his black hole of a coat.
Yes, he has the stickiest of fingers. And granted, on paper, reading just the summary of this, it does have a funny premise. Like, the idea of, like, a Christmas movie where three idiots learn the meaning of, like, goodwill towards men via a bank robbery is a solid premise.
Yeah, it feels something along the lines of, like, the Three Godfathers or the animated remake Tokyo Godfathers, where they're not, like, the best people, but that's exactly what it is. It's kind of like Tokyo Godfathers, where they're all a little goofy.
However, where those movies, I think, succeed, and this one really loses the plot, is there are too many characters in this film. Because there's our three brothers, they've got their mom, there's the guys from jail, There's the entire family of people they tried to rob. Then there's a different family of people they tried to rob who you would think these are just like one-time characters. No, they come back. They're in this movie, multiple scenes.
Well, like Mizuchi, the mob boss that they kind of piss off, he's only brought up once, and then he reappears to give kind of like this 3:10 to Yuma style deadline of, when this guy comes to town, shit's gonna really hit the fan, and it really doesn't at all. Like the other thing on top of that is it's so heavily mixed with trying to do. It doesn't even feel like a rom-com. It's more like that Christmas romantic drama bullshit where like his relationship with chick, I don't know her. I didn't write her name down.
Yeah,
but her, like their whole relationship just feels so fake, along with everything else that's happening in this movie. Because of course, the one brother who is doing good, who has a swanky-ish job back home.
Yeah, the one who's vouching for the two who just got out of jail.
Yeah, is the brothers aren't that bad of an influence that, he's been around his brothers for a day, and now he's like, you know what, we're gonna rob this bank because we planned it so well that this small-town bank is just going to give us the money, basically. Okay,
so this is, I think, the part where maybe you missed the very brief amount of dialogue at the very, very beginning. The mob boss they pissed off in jail tells the other two brothers that particular bank is really laxed in security. And boy, wouldn't it be easy to rob. It's a very quick dialogue exchange. And that's why he comes back around later and is like, you guys took my job, you took my money, so I need you to pay me all of the money.
Okay, maybe I just missed it because I thought they were actually there to find the... the brothers weren't setting him up for the bank robbery. Okay,
so the brothers originally go because their mom tells them to, and they use it as then an excuse to be like, oh my god, the bank that we just learned about, he's right. It's just got a single key, and the guy's just across the street. What if we just robbed the place? Like, again, there's a lot of side characters who do all tie together, which is impressive. However, there's too many. Because later on, the people who sell them the ski masks, they're important because they have a testimony to play. The police are constant reoccurring characters and not in the like, oh no, the ambiguous police are gonna get them, but like full fleshed out characters who have long bits of dialogue.
Well, and the whole premise for it, for me, just is so dumb because this town gets robbed on Christmas Eve. There's a blizzard coming in. Who could have done it? There's these three guys that we have never seen before in our town. Who could have possibly robbed the bank?
However, I will give the writing some credit. He does cover his ass. It's not done well, but the mayor does state that they are having a winter festival, and that's why there's a lot of strangers in town right now. But it's a bad reason, and it's barely useful.
Yeah, well, there's not like they get lost amongst a bunch of strangers. No. They're constantly front and center with all these people, too. They're being invited to their house for Christmas Eve dinner.
They get rescued by the people they literally just robbed because they, ran off the road and the police didn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Christmas movie in the sense that every impossible thing happens to lead them through this story. But unlike other Christmas films that use the impossible scenarios to either A, get you married, B, get you a really good job somewhere, C, get you to heaven, ? Or, D, you become a good person and thus are reversed from some terrible curse you were just put under.
Yeah.
These idiots don't learn jack shit.
No.
From this experience. They just happened to not go to jail at the end of this film.
They do learn a good experience. They're turned by the spirit of Christmas and the realization that they have impact on people's lives, that if this bank goes under, the whole small town bank goes under, and so by some extent the rest of the small town's going to go under because the large banks are going to come in. But oh no, it's the Christmas spirit that saves them. Cage's character is turned and is gonna return everything back to how it was by giving the money to the church.
Well, he was going to return it to the bank and he couldn't.
Yeah.
So he was going to leave it at the church with a note. Okay, I agree with you that is the lesson that the audience learns. I do not believe that these three brothers are truly reformed.
No.
I think Nic Cage's character, who is supposedly quote-unquote the smart one of the Three Stooges here, he learns very briefly the good lesson. However, because this is very clearly based off of the Three Stooges, the whole premise of the Three Stooges is that they don't actually learn their lesson. Mm-hmm. They learn it for like a fourth of a second and then immediately go back to their old ways.
That's how the other two brothers are.
And that's how the other two brothers are. And so I truly believe that nobody here learns a lesson because the other two brothers immediately go back to like light pickpocketing at the end of this film. Mm-hmm. Nic Cage's character leaves living with his mom so he can be with the beautiful woman that we met 4 seconds ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about it real quick, too.
This romance that's thrown in this.
Because it's like, we get like maybe 5-10 minutes of their quote-unquote romance.
This is such a light romance that I genuinely did not clock that these two characters liked each other until they were like holding hands, Christmas Day love sort of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, and it's also because like the movie is so preoccupied with them trying to get away and dealing with the blizzard, trying to get away
as they should be
in a blizzard too. On top of that, which doesn't
and being chased by a mob boss who has their mom tied up in the trunk of a car.
True, but also like the blizzard doesn't feel like that much of a threat because everyone is walking around during the Christmas holiday. They're going to church. They're going to their Christmas celebrations.
Can we, for a very hot second, talk about the fact that the dialogue writing of this movie, despite I know being annoying for most of us, like, it has to be a certain type of humor. However, most of the plot holes that everyone has are fixed with just the basic dialogue. However, the background, like, filmography does not match what is being said out loud. No. They're like, my god, the worst blizzard of all time. Crystal clear outside.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the driving conditions are terrible. It's lightly foggy.
Yeah, and like it's not even foggy, like there's maybe like a little bit of potato starch and the roads are absolutely clear. The roads look
fine. The roads look so fine. This is like, oh my god, it snowed in Texas. Everyone is bailed off the side of the road. But they're not in Texas. This is like in the north somewhere.
It's in Pennsylvania.
It's in Pennsylvania. This snow should be 10 feet deep, damn it.
Yeah. Well, there's parts of this that I will say, okay, I can see it happening, because the brothers are technically breaking parole.
They are, and like, again, from a writing dialogue standpoint, I do think a lot of this movie makes sense. Mm-hmm. It is literally just the, like, shots that don't add up. They'll be like, oh my god, it's such a dark night outside, it's noon, bright sun. You're like, okay, hold on a second. Because if we had filmed this just a little differently, all of this would have made much more sense.
Yeah.
Like, them not getting recognized, it's clearly written into the script, like, oh, he's wearing a big hat, it falls on his face, and that's why he doesn't get recognized. But the way the film is shot, you're, like, zoomed in on his face, and you're like, well, why didn't they notice him? Mm-hmm. He's clearly the most awkward man in this whole building.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But it's because it was filmed really strangely.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, just, like, going back to the romance a little bit,
yeah,
we get those 10 minutes, and then it ends with him, like, staying in town. He's like...
Yeah, he ditches his brothers. He's like, I found a hot chick, guys. Yon yon.
Well, and just, like, the ending line of that is, all roads are open. It's just, like...
What a dumb
yeah
tagline.
Because she just says that, and then just kind of, like, moves her head towards the sign that's behind her. It's like... What? Okay,
the other thing that is very important to know, which is not spoiling anything in this movie in case somehow you thought I was spoiling something before. The name of the town is Paradise. And that's why this whole thing is just a big-ass pun, and why that last line is supposed to make sense, because the roads have been closed and you can't leave Paradise, Pennsylvania. And it's so close to actually being funny and kind of witty, but it misses because the rest of this film is so dumb.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like, even, like, not even though their romance is, like, 10, 15 minutes of this movie.
At best.
Even the brotherhood, like, oh, we gotta stick together, we gotta learn from more stuff. Nothing happens, because, like, even, like, their big, like, they don't learn, like we've said, they don't learn shit.
No.
But, like, when they have that big reveal of, oh, we tricked you, does this wallet look familiar? That whole bit is, like, he's not even pissy at them.
No.
Like, it's just like, okay, this is...
Yeah.
It's just, you guys are a bunch of dipshits, and the rest of the town is a bunch of dipshits.
Again, that is why I don't have any proof, because again, we don't do a bunch of research for these little microviews. I would give my left foot to prove that this movie is a direct inspiration from the Three Stooges. Because that is how so many of those movies went. Was like, they learned jack shit, but the difference was those movies were for stand-up slapstick styling. You watched it for a quick giggle because someone was going to fall 18 different ways. There was going to be some funny noises, a couple of really good, like, back and forth jokes that were very standard, their styling. It was very vaudeville-esque, right? This movie doesn't have a ton of, like, actual physical humor. It's a lot of situational. It's supposed to be a lot of, like, dialogue, but the dialogue doesn't have the back and forth corpse like the Stooges usually do. It's missing that. It's just a lot of stupid lines that are mostly one-liners. And, like, granted, there are a few very good, funny one-liners that did have me give a chuckle. Specifically when they open the trunk and there's, like, a bunch of guns back there and he goes, guns! Like, that got me. That was funny.
None of this humor got me at all. I
totally understand. Again, it's not a humor for everyone, but apparently it was humor for someone. Because like I said, I know that you and I, this is not our cup of tea. Me, because I'm not a Christmas fiend. You, because this is not your humor. This is somebody's humor, because this has a cult following.
Are you calling me a Christmas fiend?
More than me.
Not at all. Are you kidding me? I only do the 12 rom-coms of Christmas to bitch about them.
Yeah, that's more than I do. So, congrats.
Okay.
You've out-Christmas me. I actively give the finger to every Christmas decoration I see in Walmart, as if it has personally offended me, because it has. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, bitches. Put your trees away.
There's stuff up in July now.
I know! It makes me so mad! And it's not even like my favorite holiday is Halloween. It's not even about that. If it's July, it needs to be July-themed shit. I can't stand it. Okay, side rant, done.
Yes. Tell me about this cult following this movie supposedly has.
It does. There is a lot of people who genuinely find this movie very funny and very Christmassy. They find it either very wholesome and that it has, like, a good chuckle, or they think that, like, the theming is really fun and, like, nostalgic for them. I want to make sure everyone understands, though, when this movie came out, it made no money. And it had terrible critic reviews, like, really bad. Even for all three of these actors being in it, that even didn't save it.
As it should.
You would think that at least there'd be some praise for acting, and it got none.
Well, because even, like, Cage, arguably the best actor in this whole movie, is a bit all over the place. Like, he gives a fine performance.
Sure. I mean, it's Cage. I don't expect a bad performance.
Yeah, it's on a bit on the cagier side, but it's not, like, it's not...
It's not full Cage.
Yeah, exactly. It's still...
It's very light. There is a large group of people who genuinely think this movie should be played on air every year as a holiday classic. And I know this for a fact not only because I have found their forums, and I read many a review written by people who genuinely love this movie, but also I watched this movie on DVD and then needed to rewatch it again because of my own personal errors of, again, trying to watch a movie too late and falling asleep. So I would like to let you all know that if you have at least the channel I have on YouTube TV, this movie's free right now, and it has a comment section that is turned on, and that whole comment section is nothing but people praising this movie of how much they love it, how much they watch it every year, how, like, this is Christmas to them.
Yeah.
And, like, good for you. If this is your Christmas movie, at least you found one that, like, is tolerable.
Yeah, and
I mean, doesn't have Tim Allen in it.
I can't say much either because I do actually enjoy The Master of Disguise. I know it's not a good movie.
I know.
And also it shows how little research we did.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey, the brother with, like, the weird accent and the kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
He is Pistachio Disguise, yes.
Of
The
course
Master
he is.
of Disguise. And I never made this connection. He's Garth Algar in Wayne's World.
In Wayne's World, yes. 100%. And so, like, again, if this is your jam, I get it. Again, I am a Three Stooges lover, and I know that's not everybody's thing. For some people, though, this is. And I know the reviews, especially on, like, IMDb, are going to be like, this movie is the garbage. But there is enough people out there in this world who genuinely love this movie and desire to see it played on the ABC, like, 12 Days of Christmas run every year.
Yeah, I can't.
It's not for me, but again, I'm not a Christmas hoe, so...
A Christmas hoe.
I'm not. I am not a fan of the festive season to the extent of everyone else. I enjoy Christmas just as much as the average toddler, I think. It's not my favorite holiday. It's not a bad holiday. It's just a holiday. And so for me, this movie is fine once. I never plan on watching this shit again.
I would bring this out as like a really bad movie night. And
this would be fun with a couple drinks and like an unsuspecting audience.
Actually, that is actually the perfect way to watch this movie, is watch it as like a bad Christmas movie. Although I'm trying to think, unfortunately I would rather watch A Christmas Story over this, and I fucking hate A Christmas Story.
I know you hate A Christmas. In this movie's defense, this movie is half the runtime of A Christmas Story.
Thank God.
You do have to watch. You can watch just less movie.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, this movie, it's just everything put together is just an absolute mess. Like it's not a cohesive movie. It tries being a heist movie.
Yeah.
It tries being a slapstick comedy movie. It tries being a romance movie. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's some other movie that's trying to be that. I just don't know. Movie. A Christmas movie.
Yeah, no, this is a lot all happening at once. Again, I can see some of the, like, bits of why, like, this movie had as many people involved with it as it did, and, like, why some people like it. I see the glimmers. There's just way too many inconsistencies and way too many side plots for me to, like, truly get invested.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The basic premise of it sounds promising. A group of thieves trapped in a town on Christmas Eve that they just robbed.
Yeah, it's promising.
Yeah, it's a great idea for a drama or a comedy, maybe not both.
And again, the idea of reworking the Three Stooges into a more modern audience's adaptation, I think is something that is missing in the general, like, movie lexicon. The formula works. They are very funny. We just don't have a modern version of them.
There is a modern Three Stooges, and the only thing I know about it is my brother and my dad went to go see it, and that's the only movie I know of that they walked out on.
Was it the remake of the Three Stooges?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't count. We need, like, a new version, because the Three Stooges is specific to its time and place, right? Mm-hmm. Much like a lot of World War II-esque, like, song and dance movies, you really can't recreate them. Like, actors just aren't a 3-point star anymore. They don't sing, they don't dance, and they don't act all at the levels that they used to.
Yeah, it's not like Christmas.
No, I do think that there is room in this world for a new version of three buddies who are funny together in a slapstick sort of way, to joke off of one another, to, like, come together and, like, have a run of movies.
The Hangover.
Yes.
Or the three best friends that anyone could ever have.
The Hangover is honestly a very good example of, like, a good reworking of the Three Stooges-esque characteristics.
Well, and in a way, too, I mean, the group of three always works quite well. I mean, look at any modern shonen anime. It's the rule
of three is strong.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. And they all have to be the right level of dipshit. I mean, look at Jujutsu Kaisen. Granted, I know vaguely where that series goes. I've only seen season 1, so don't at me, you fucking weebs.
Okay, I won't tell you anything.
Everyone is just that right level of dipshit.
Yes, they are.
Same with, like, Chainsaw Man, even though it's not, like, 3. Or no, it is 3.
Yeah.
They're all, like, the right level of dipshit.
And there is, in the writing, in the paper, I see where these three are, like, more heavily influenced Three Stooges, the Rule of Three comedy, you know, the Three Stupid Brothers. I get it, I see it. I think, for me, it is too heavy-handed. And also, there's too many other writing errors and directing errors that just did not work out together to make this the perfect comedy for me. It did get a few chuckles. I didn't despise hating this movie, but it's not for me.
Feel ya. So then, rent, buy, streamer, decline that we ever watched Trapped in Paradise despite having an audio recording of us watching it.
While this movie is not my jam, I could see getting very drunk with a group who haven't seen this and watch them watch this movie. So I would be willing to rent this one more time for the shits and giggles of a group night. However, for myself, for my own watching enjoyment, I'm gonna pass. Yeah,
I'm gonna say decline. I hate this movie so much.
This movie's something.
It's just this, like, it starts off, that's the thing, is it, like, starts off decent enough, but it falls apart so damn quickly. And
there's just so much going on.
And it is 100% Bill Firpo from the get-go that makes it awful.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't get better from there.
Again, there was too many things happening simultaneously to make this work for me. But again, I will be making friends watch it at least once, and then I will never touch this movie again.
Maybe one of the last nights for Christmas.
I was going to say, for Christmas, have everyone bring the worst Christmas movie they know would be a good time. And I would bring this one as my entry.
Yeah, shuffle them up and let us
see who goes first.
Yeah, unfortunately this does end Nic Cage November, and doesn't it just get you in the Christmassy mood?
Again, once it is the Christmas season, I do enjoy Christmas. It's just, as we're recording this, not yet Christmas. It's still Nic Cage November.
Yeah.
For me personally, once this comes out, rest in peace, Nic Cage November. We will see you again next year.
Yes, but we do have one less Christmassy movie for you for the start of Christmas, or the start of December, that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
It is a movie that we've needed to cover, as it is one of the best that ever was.
True.
So,
very true.
Hint, hint, wink, wink on what it is. Keep an eye on the numbers of the episodes.
Yes.
But anyway, this has been The Good, the Bad, and the Weird MicroViews.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Thank you for stopping by this here town of The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always, check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace.